Hi, I'm Jenny Rushmore of Cashmerette, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own bias tape. So bias tape is a type of fabric strip that's been cut on the bias, which means at a 45-degree angle to the grain line. I will show you more on how to do that in a minute. And it has lots of different purposes. In my book, Sewing the Curve, there are various different patterns that use bias tape. So for instance, in the Fairfax quilted jacket, bias tape is used all around the edges of the jacket and the edges of the pockets as a really nice visible trim. It's also used in the Montvale tunic to finish off the armholes. So you can buy bias tape in the stores, but I will say sometimes it's really hard to find one that matches color, or sometimes they can be a little bit stiff and you're making your main garment out of something flowier, and it would be nicer to continue to have that flowy fabric in your garment. So in those cases, making your own bias tape is actually a much better option, and it will elevate the look of your garments. So let's get into it. So when making bias tape, the first thing we need to discover is where the bias is in our fabric. So you need to identify the selvage, which is going down the edge here, and make sure your fabric is flat. And then this grain line is parallel to the selvage, and actually I already drew a line indicating a parallel line. Now I'm partly doing that because the top of this is squared off. So basically a cross is at exact right angle to the selvage, and that's important. So the bias is at a 45-degree angle to this line. So the easiest way to do this, and there are in fact many tools that you can use, but I'm going to show you a way without tools, is to basically mark across an equal distance this way and this way on your fabric, and then when you join them up, that's 45 degrees. As it happens, I have a gridded mat, so this is kind of easy for me. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, for instance, to here. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when I join up these two marks that I just made, that will be at an exactly 45-degree angle to the edge of the selvage here. So this is 45 degrees. So this is now the anchor point for marking in the lines for cutting your bias tape. I am doing it across a little corner here, but you can do it as far across the fabric as you want. It is limited a little bit by the amount of space that you have on your work surface, and you can have the degree to which you can have it flat, but there we go. Now, I'm going to be making bias tape for the Fairfax jacket. The Fairfax jacket is double fold, which means a 1/2 inch finished bias tape is 4 times wider. So a 1/2 inch bias tape is in fact 2 inches wide. And when it's folded up, which I'm going to show you in a minute, it makes it into 1/2 inch wide double fold. This would also make 1 inch wide single fold, which I'll show you later. But if you're making it for the Fairfax jacket, then this is what you need to do. So now I need to draw a 2-inch line away from this line at the same angle. Now I have a quilting ruler here, which makes it really easy. So let me show you first how I would do it with the quilting ruler. I simply line up the line with 2 inches here, and then I'm going to draw this side. So I'm kind of doing this backwards, right-handed. I should have done it the other way, but there we go. So now we have a perfectly even 2-inch wide strip of bias. If you don't have a quilting ruler like this, instead you can measure down. So imagine this was a regular ruler. I would go 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, as many times as you feel you need. And then I would do the same thing. Okay, so you can simply continue doing this over and over and over again until you have the lengths that you need. Now what I'm going to do is cut them out. So you need to be very careful. As soon as they're cut out, they are prone to stretching because they're on the bias, which is what bias tape needs to be. So you need to be fairly careful handling them once they're cut. So in this case, I'm going to do it with rotary cutter, which I find by far the easiest. So I'm going to line up my ruler, and then I'm just going to go down with my rotary cutter, and I can even pull this piece off, and there you see. Now I'm going to go down the next one. Now if all your bias pieces are right next to each other, you need to be very careful that you're cutting accurately, which I just failed to do just then. Otherwise, you will sort of have errors in both sides. Okay, so you would continue cutting at 2 inches. Now you have some tape, but you have different pieces of it. So now we actually need to sew these pieces together. Your pieces would likely be longer, so it's a bit more efficient, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So ultimately, what we want to end up with is tape that is continuous. So like this, okay? So this, I find the easiest way, because my brain gets really confused sometimes between which way or this should go. So we know that we want these two ends to be together here. So I lay them out like this and then flip it over like, okay, well, where does this then need to be sewn? And the answer is like this, okay? Now, to make it even slightly more confusing, there's still a seam allowance and you need the seam allowances to meet up. So if you want to be extra, extra, extra careful about this, you can mark the seam allowances on first. So because I've also got these like selvagey bits that are a bit hairy, which also make it a bit more confusing, I'm just going to mark 1/2 inch here, and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch here. You technically don't need to do this, but I find that it helps a little bit. So you are then going to turn this over, and you want to make sure that the lines match up. Now, as you do that, can you see what's happening here? They're not meeting precisely at this edge, because if you sew them here and then you fold it over, they're actually going to be staggered. You need to line them up where these black lines are. Now, over time, you can learn how to do this without marking them in, but I think as a beginner, it really helps to do it. So I'm going to line up these black lines so they're exactly on top of each other. And I'm going to pin across the end. Okay, so can you see that there's actually a little extension here and a little extension here, but the two lines are going to match perfectly. And to make it even easier for myself, again, I'm going to draw again on top at that line to indicate my stitching line. So now I'm going to go and sew that line. Okay, so I sewed along that line. So now we're on to pressing. So the first thing I'm going to do, just press it flat. And now I'm going to press the seam allowances apart. So I'm going to turn it over to the wrong side. And by the way, at this point, you can see very clearly whether you did it correctly or wrong. It's very easy to do it the wrong way around. And that's why drawing the line on is quite nice to begin with. So now I'm going to press it flat. And there you can see we now have a continuous piece of bias tape that has been connected on the bias. So there are these little bits sticking out, so you can trim those down. And if all has gone well, that's it. That's your bias tape. So the next thing is turning it into adding the folds that you'll recognize on bias tape. So it depends a little bit on whether you're doing double or single fold, but ultimately you have to do the same steps to begin with. So the first thing you want to do is fold it in half lengthways. So you just literally fold it in half like this and go along. So you're just making sure the edges are exactly lining up. You really want to be as precise as you can, because if you are not, it starts to become obvious later on. Okay, so that's your first fold. So now you want to like loosely open it up. So you don't want to get rid of that fold, but now you've got one fold. The next thing you're going to do is bring the edge to the middle. So you're going to do this. And you want to press along just on the edge. I'm lifting between each press as well. I'm not sliding the top. And you're doing this carefully so that you're not getting rid of the center crease. And you want to do this once your bias tape is all connected together. There are gadgets and machines that will help you do this, but as a beginner, you're probably just going to do it the manual way. So now you have 2 folds in, and now you're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So you're going to bring this side in, and I often sort of iron the whole thing at this point. So you're bringing this into the center. Center, center, center. Okay, so now if you open it out, you have 3 folds. So this is the difference between single fold and double fold. Single fold bias tape is just this. So you could do a final press from the outside. You actually don't need that middle fold doesn't exist on single fold bias tape. That would be a 1-inch single fold bias tape. For double fold bias tape, simply you use that fold as well. So you can give it a last press in half, but you already have all of these folds in there. So I'm not making any new folds now, I'm just reinforcing the ones that are in there. And that is it. You now have homemade bias tape. So the really nice thing about it is you can use any fabric you want. You can make it coordinate or even contrast with your garment. And yeah, you have lots and lots and lots of flexibility to make all kinds of cool custom garments. If you'd like to see more videos to help you learn to sew, head over to cashmere.com/learn to sew. And I highly recommend picking up a copy of my book, Sewing the Curve. I wrote this book so that curvy people like me could learn how to make a wardrobe of garments that make you feel so confident and also fit well. I cover everything from setting up your sewing machine to understanding sewing patterns and fabric, all the way to making your first garment. It comes with 6 full-size sewing patterns in sizes 12 to 32 and cup sizes C to H. So if you're thinking about sewing, you're excited about it, but you're uncertain where to begin, I really recommend picking up a copy of Sewing the Curve.